We're back.
Hello.
You guys ready to kill Armstrong?
Hello.
Oh shit.
Oh, this is
You weren't ready
bad start.
Just restart.
Never! I ain't no coward. Run away.
You can do it, Sean. You can date. You can date. I believe in you.
Don't hug me! Oh, he does a little hop, too.
Yeah, he does. That's like his grapple.
Oh, God. Thank God that didn't hit me.
The fuck? So apparently, this goes back. We were kind of talking Scientology a little bit there ago.
Of course.
Apparently, John Travolta has been a Scientologist since 1975.
Have you seen the documentary Going Clear?
No, I haven't. They were talking about it on that podcast.
It's great. It's actually really good, and so is Louis Theroux's Scientology movie.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
All of Louis Theroux's documentaries are pretty good.
But the Going Clear one is like actual ex-Scientologists. Like everybody they interview is an ex-Scientologist, and they talk about it. Like this guy that used it for like a basically like a
The fuck?
like a Tony Robbins sort of like
Right.
self-help kind of program.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, this is great. And it was actually doing wonders for him. It was like his outlet for seeing like a psychiatrist. So, because it was helping him deal with his problems. And then
Right.
like he got to a certain level in the program,
Right.
and they gave him these secret documents talking about Xeno,
Oh,
and he's
Xeno.
like,
It's OT3, my dude.
what the fuck? And he's like,
Operating Thetan level 3.
he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, I was all for the self-help and all this other stuff. Like, I was doing fine, but when they dropped this bombshell on me, it's like,
Well, it's like
what the hell?
because there's Dianetics, right, which came out first.
Yeah.
Which kind of laid the groundwork. That was like about the empowerment and building the health of your body and mind.
Yeah, it's like if you get in a car crash and you have the ailments of the effects of being in a car crash, you think about your mind having that memory.
Yeah.
You basically are like a computer in a sense where you
Yeah,
like
you
find
move
the
it-
file where it's like car crash.
Yeah.
You drag it to the trash
Yep.
and you dump it.
Yep. You transfer it from the emotional mind to the logical mind.
Yeah.
And it stops becoming a fear for you or whatever. It's
Right.
kind of whatever. But then Scientology, that comes in as that it's that, but for the soul.
Right.
And that's and then that's where you.
Because you have all
Here's-
these little thetans and
Yeah.
little demons in you that you have to flush out.
When Xenu threw these dudes into a volcano,
Right.
their spirits found homes in the human bodies, and those are the Thetans.
Shit.
And the negative things that latch on to you that cause your body and mind or whatever are called Ingrams.
Yeah.
But back to Travolta here for a second. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, joining other celebrities and helping with relief efforts, Travolta flew his Boeing 707 full of supplies, doctors, and Scientologist volunteer ministers.
Nice.
Have you heard in the news lately
It's like
that
you're
the
dealing
cops
with
were called on Scientologists?
good.
There was
What the
somebody that was reported abused and
Yeah.
held captive against their will in one of their locations, and then
Right. Does that have anything to do with? Were they talking about Miscavige's wife, the guy who's the leader of Scientology? His wife hasn't been seen in public for like years.
right.
That's messed.
Yeah.
It is. Well, his dad was Miscavige's dad was interviewed for some show. I think it was probably the
Yeah.
Louis Theroux one. It was pretty crazy. His dad talking about all this stuff and how Scientology or the Scientologists actually like we're fucking ourselves over too with the Scientologists. We're asking for it, but they refute everything that Miscavige's dad has said, and like because they're all about
Well, of course.
causing problems for people.
Right.
They're not as bad as the Westboro Baptists, though. Gotta say
Well,
that.
there's a difference.
They're a little more sinister.
But
than
they're-
Westboro.
Scientology.
just yells at
Scientology
people.
is about money.
Yeah.
Scientologists is about
it's-
property and real estate.
Where other
That's all
cults,
it-
where
all
other
it
cults
is.
are about like power and fucking, like servitude and like weird sexual things. Scientology is about money. Like
There was a good part in that documentary where he talks about this, in that documentary where he talks about this, Satanist that L. Ron Hubbard hangs out with.
Oh yeah, Jack Parsons.
Yeah, and like,
Before Scientology happened, he started hanging out with Parsons, and then like saw that this dude had all this power, whatever, and he got into doing this black magic shit.
and then he got
Parsons
into like
was a disciple of Crowley
right,
and considered Crowley a mentor. So he kept so he would send letters like to Crowley, and he's just like, this person's like no other magician I've met except for you or whatever. He's probably like the most powerful magician around or whatever.
right,
And he ends up stealing Parsons's wife
right.
and like all sorts of shit. Like it's crazy.
And there, he like gets all these like the words like engrams and
Yep.
thetans. He gets those from his previous books that he was
Yeah.
writing.
Yep.
He gets all those things, and he just kind of combines everything into Dianetics.
Yep.
I thought that
Oh,
was
there's
kind
even
of,
there's like record of him saying many times that like the easiest way to gain power or money or whatever is through religion.
basically money. He's
through
like,
creating a religion.
yeah.
He said that many times. There's been like instances where people have talked about where they're hanging out with him and he's just making fun of the people that believe in Scientology and shit like that. And like,
Even his descendants, like Elron's like grandkids and things like that, are like, yeah, I feel bad that I'm related to this guy.
well, some of his kids, there's a decent amount of his kids that were never in school, that
Yeah.
they were only brought up in the school of Scientology, so they couldn't like read or write or anything, and like it was crazy. Yeah, his Miscavige's wife has not been seen in public since August 2007.
They got to get a warrant on that or something.
Right.
Like they got to figure something out.
She disappeared after she filled several job vacancies without her husband's permission. But like, apparently, like, Elron was all about the money, and like, basically that was it. Like he
Right.
peddled this shit, and like every time people were starting to reach like the higher levels or whatever, he'd come out with something new that meant they had to like retake classes and stuff, and like would have other stuff they had to
He
pay for
invented
and
the
shit.
Sea Org.
Yeah, where it
elite
got
group.
like, not to say it wasn't nefarious then, because it definitely was, but it got even more nefarious under the leadership of Miscavige. Miscavige has gotten it to like the notoriety that it is at this point. It's crazy. It's nothing like talking Scientology as there's a robot man fighting.
I mean, it's all
Senator.
science fiction.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'd recommend watching that documentary though.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Watch-
so eye opening.
Watch, what was it, Going Clear?
Going Clear.
Going Clear, the Louis Theroux, My Scientology.
The movie
Mo-
one, yeah,
yeah.
My Scientology movie. He
Yeah.
like gets actors to portray all these people. Like he
Right.
gets a Miscavige lookalike that like Marty Rathbone is one of
Yeah.
these like high-ranking officials in Scientology, and
Right.
he doesn't get any money for doing like interviews and things like that. I don't know what the stipulation is, but he just doesn't get any. He doesn't get any payment for doing these interviews or things like that. So
Right.
he coaches this actor to act like the actual David Miscavige, and it's just so bizarre how like he warns Louis like, you know, if you take this far enough, people will actually start to believe it, and actually it will start to become its own cult, even though you're faking it. Like you actually see it in some of the actors like believing it and like thinking like this is real, and it's really bizarre.
Right.
I
Well,
love
and
it.
yeah, it's crazy. They, what was yeah, watch those. Watch, The Master.
Yeah, watch the
Watch that, because
Paul
that,
Thomas Anderson.
yeah, that was originally going to be a movie about Scientology.
Oh, it definitely is. It's
Well,
definitely-
it was announced as such, but
Shit.
he got so much pressure that he had to change it.
right.
And the production company's like, we don't want to have to deal with this shit. Like, just, change it up. But it's thinly veiled about Scientology.
Yeah,
And then listen to those fucking last podcast on the left episodes. Because everything we're talking about comes straight from all those.
Okay.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was great in The Master.
Oh my god, him and Joaquin.
And Joaquin, dude.
They're
Joaquin
badass.
making his own, like, fucking alcohol out of, like,
Boat fuel.
boat fuel and, like, camera chemicals or whatever, like photo development chemicals or whatever.
Yep.
And then just, like,
Oh,
tipping
shit.
out. Like, where...
Almost.
The
So
part,
close.
the part where he goes to the, like, party or get together, then all of a sudden he looks back and everybody's naked. Like, he's just tipping.
Yep.
It's awesome.
And the whole infraction scene
Yep.
where they're actually, it was actually.
They kind of do a Sea Org thing in there too, don't they?
Yeah. They're on a boat.
Yeah.
But that whole like infraction, it's kind of like doing the version of the holding the e-meter or the
Yeah.
e-meter thing,
Yep.
where he's like asking questions to Joaquin. That's like an actual really well done portrayal of how to,
The auditing or whatever.
yeah, auditing somebody or just basically doing like a brief mental acrobatics, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's one of the most well done or well portrayed
Like,
acts of doing something
Right,
like that, like
right.
how people would get deep-seated thoughts,
Yep.
like their subconscious to the
Yep.
surface.
one of the
What the?
things that was kind of funny, like a way of selling his bullshit. The whole Sea Org thing, when that got started, it was like he was doing it under the guise of it being some geographical expedition to go out and find the gold that he had buried in his past lives.
Right.
And like,
So dumb.
Yeah, and like
He made up
that
so many
and he
lies.
forgot about it until like this life or whatever.
Right.
Didn't know where it was until this life. And yeah, dude, there's just like, it's outstanding how
And
ridiculous he was.
Elron lied about military service and how he thought, like he wrote that he was a war hero, but like the records show that he was just like a desk clerk and like
Well, and he
wasn't
fucked
anything.
up too. Like, well, yeah, he said had all this shit. He was friends with a dude in the military,
Right.
and he wrote him a letter of recommendation to the president to be like a lieutenant. And he got hired that way, and then eventually, like, he was fucking up so bad that they just put him like at a desk job. But
Yep.
one of the things he did was he
fucked up the submarine or something like that.
well,
He,
yeah,
like-
he was a captain,
Yeah.
a lieutenant on an anti-sub vessel.
right, and he like actually set launches.
He
and
launched a bunch of shit or first what he did was they picked up something on his radar,
Right.
and so he was just dropping depth charges, and he did it for like 3 days. So people were just constantly hauling out depth charges to this boat, and eventually the dudes were just like, "What's going on with all this ammunition going to one place?"
Yeah.
And it was like a magnetic deposit in the ocean, and they're like, "Wow."
He wasted so much money.
And then he also then was running drills, but he was
Fucking A.
at that point had crossed over into Mexican waters, and was like launching a bunch of fucking bombs at these like islands by the Baja or whatever, and like so essentially he was committing an act of war against Mexico. And then he got fucking shilled down to a fucking desk job.
Yeah, they're like,
They're just like, dude,
enough
you
of that.
can't. There's a letter that's just like, this dude can't lead people. Like,
Yeah, this guy's done.
yeah, it's crazy how much he was like the single greatest practitioner of chaos magic ever.
Yeah.
Just want something enough, you make it a reality.
I mean, that story is just funny by
It's
itself.
nuts, dude.
His whole like military experience, and then like
Some of the shit's just absurd.
it's like, wow, who would think of doing shit like this and have the
Right.
balls to do
And this
it?
is the stuff that like we know is true. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, this isn't like his bullshit stories where
This
he says
is
he was like
military
a
records.
yeah,
of
because
this
he says
shit.
he was like a war hero that like fucking fought on the Pacific Front for what. But no, he was fucked up. This is like, yeah, all this. There's so many. The confirmed stories are almost weirder than the stories he makes up.
I know.
It's weird.
Yeah, there's no
Gino.
Gina.
And watch the South Park episode too.
Right?
This is what Scientologists actually believe.
Well, no, like a lot of people didn't know about that until then too.
I know, it's crazy. Tom, you gotta come out of the classes. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's the guy. Well, and apparently too, like homosexuality is a big no-no in Scientology too.
Yep.
Like they are very homophobic. Like there's like the tonal scale or whatever, and that's like a measure of like who you are as a person, kind of.
Yep.
And which goes from 40 to negative 40, and like a person that's 1.1 is like a deceitful something, whatever. Like someone, like basically a person who like pretends to be your friend but will stab you in the back type of situation.
Right.
That's like a 1.1. That's the same level as what they put homosexuality at.
Jeez.
And like that's probably why like John Travolta isn't, you know, because we've all heard the stories about J-Tra and his fucking
Oh yeah, his boy crazy.
his pilot groping and masseuse groping and whatnot. Why he's kept that under wraps, and like Elron's own son was a little kind of on that side, and like he treated him poorly, and just like, yeah, it was crazy.
Well, have you seen like there's a big deal with Miscavige being like 5 foot nothing, and like how he had to write that recruitment song called "Stand Tall" or "Standing Tall."
God damn it.
That's so fun because he's like just such a tiny man, and he's got like a Napoleon complex that he's like gotta sing a song about being tall. And so does Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is a short boy.
Right. Well, they're pointing out too how, and because a lot of people have seen that video, the recruitment video that Tom Cruise did.
Yeah.
And where he's basically, there's a part where like,
would you ever date an OT5?
like they're basically talking about like killing SPs, which are suppressive personalities.
Yep.
And he's just like laughing about it and shit. And he's like, that's like everybody who's not a Scientologist. He's laughing about killing people. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we should join.
Oh, fuck.
oh, dude, I couldn't afford to join. Costs so much money. Everything you do costs money. And that's too, like, part of the reasoning behind it. Oh, new levels, new things to do. That means new classes, new whatever. You have to relearn things. That means you have to spend more money on those classes.
It's like karate. You get to a certain part, like in Taekwondo, it's like, oh, you need pads now. We're getting into this tough stuff. You need to buy all these pads. I'm like,
But
no.
there's a practical reasoning for that.
Yeah, but
To a degree, but yeah, kids' sports. Dude, hockey, dude.
Hockey
Oof.
was painful.
My parents refused to let me play hockey. I didn't want to, but my parents like refused to let me play hockey when I was younger because they did it for my brother, and it was so much just like constant involvement and money, and like you had to do all those stupid
traveling,
like, pizza sales and shit to fund all the stuff, and like it was so much goddamn work. They're just like, you're never doing this. It's
No
like,
one
all right.
can fucking run. God damn it, game.
There you go.
I was just cornered in that tiny little area with those fucking fire pillars. I hate you, Armstrong.
You're a butthole, Armstrong.
Huge butthole.
Come on, man. There you go. Oh, shit. Aye.
I honestly think this game is cheating right now.
You're a cheater, game.
You're a cheating game. I don't trust you.
You want to take a pause? We'll come back to it.
Nah, I got this.
You do?
I got
All right,
this.
all right. You got this. This is your final shot. Is there a trick to this fight?
Just memorizing his patterns, really.
Fun part in Scientology too is that like if
Fun
you
part? Come on, Bradshaw.
it's said with sarcasm.
Fun part.
If you're like a suppressive person or leave the church or get kicked out, depending on like how dangerous they think you are,
Yep.
they like have people that they pay to follow you and stalk you and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes to like, if you're like talking mad shit and whatever, that actively trying to like ruin your life.
They do that, and
It's so crazy.
they call it being defensive.
Yeah. Well, there's a what was it?
The Louis Theroux one, where like he's actually
Something about
investigating.
squirrel busters or some shit
Yep.
like that.
They wear shirts, and they did that to Marty Rathbone.
Mm-hmm.
In the Louis Theroux one, they were being followed by a cameraman. We're gonna stop,
Yeah.
and we'll come right back.